Hey, everybody, Drew Remenda here. You're listening to another podcast from Teal Town, USA.
Hey everybody, what's good? Welcome to show 126 of the Pucknologists here on Teal Town, USA. I am your host, AJ_Strong, at the end of a horrible weekend for the Sharks. Joining me tonight, Rocket Backhander.
Hey, what's up?
And just making it home in time, Hockey Jerk.
Yeah, I asked the pilot on my plane if there was a spot where I could plug my computer in. They said no, so I had to come home.
How unfortunate. But did you at least pick up any cool shirts when you were traveling?
I can neither confirm nor deny that.
I think you might have picked up one. Wow, interesting. That's a different way to go, my friend.
Okay.
You trying to say something?
Interpret it however you see fit.
Okay, well, that's probably wasn't the shirt he actually picked up. I think we know the shirt he really picked up. There you go. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll tell you what. He was asking everybody if they were up. I'm just saying, 7 goals in 3 games against the same team. Oof.
Oh,
I think he likes playing them.
I think so. So anyway, we should probably get going here. Hey, do us a favor. Remember to subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on social media. If you listen to the podcast on something like Spotify, iTunes, iHeart, whatever, we'd appreciate a subscribe and review on those platforms. And if you'd like to support the show, you can always use that super chat option during the live gig. Or better yet, toss a little something in our Venmo tip jar at Teal Town USA. And of course, as always, we thank you for the support. If you ever miss a show, want to catch it again, it's always available on your favorite podcast platform, on YouTube, and at Teal Town USA. So, this time around, oh boy, we're going to talk about Tim Peel getting early retirement from the NHL, find out why Matthew Tkachuk and Rasmus Andersson are dicks, and changes to the NHL Draft Lottery. But first, let's get into the Sharks game this week. A week for the Sharks where they played 4 games and took a 4-point total out of a possible 8, scoring 8 goals, allowing 12, remaining 7th in the West. And after 33 games played, they're 8 points out of a playoff spot. So let's catch you up. The first one in LA, Couture and Donato give the Sharks a 2-1 win with Jones in net. Couture's first goal in 8 games. Donato got his 5th of the year and 2nd in 3 games. And let's be honest, the story of this one was Curtis Gabriel acting like a moron, cross-checking Curtis McDermott during warm-ups.
Punk move. Punk move. I'm glad he got fined. And you don't want to see somebody get hurt, but, you know, I didn't exactly shed any tears about Curtis McDermott feeding him his lunch, let's say.
Dude, that was, like, why? Just why?
Well, because, you know, there's no other redeeming quality, so you got to stand out somehow.
Well, it's another game where the Sharks take more than double the penalties of the opposing team. At the end of this one, though, quick pulled for the extra attacker in the final minute. The Sharks withstand an onslaught, but man, does Jones owe Ferraro a dinner for saving his ass. 41 saves. That 41st one, that was on Ferraro. And it just makes me wonder, man, why are these games for Jones the exception and not the rule? Come on, man.
I'm sorry. 40 save game for any goalie is the exception.
Oh, hold on. Who was it that was making like big saves now? Who that would just hold on? Wasn't it the cat from Winnipeg?
Are you talking about Connor Hellebuck?
Yeah. Didn't he like have a stretch where he was just like making 40 saves after 40 saves?
Yeah, well, there's a couple teams like that where it's like, you know, they have this elite Vezina caliber goaltender who's not going to, you know, they're not going to let in any goals, like you said, but for some reason the team in front of them allows a bunch of shots, you know? Like you just go back to when Mike Smith was on Arizona.
Who?
Chief regularly had like a 910, 920 save percentage. His goals against was like over 3 for that exact reason. Like he'd let in 5 goals, but he would make like 50 saves a night.
Jesus. Well, like I said, prior to the game, Gabriel cross-checks McDermott, and the next day, Gabriel got a $3K fine, Bugner got a $5K fine, and the Sharks got a $25K fine. Those are not fines that you want to hear about, but let's hear from Bob Bugner finding out about his fine.
That's a good question. I was having a coffee in the coaches room. I didn't even know what was happening. I don't know. I guess the buck stops here, and I'm the head coach, and I'm responsible for my players as more than, I guess in anything. So I was surprised by it, I accept it, and it is what it is. We'll move on from it. But yeah, I guess I have to rethink my warm-up routines.
So we're going to rethink the warm-up routines. Okay, sounds fine. I'm starting to wonder if we're not going to see much more Gabriel anymore, but who knows? Game 2 versus LA. It's a 4-2 win. Balcers, Kane, and Hertl are your goal scorers. Speaking of Gabriel coming out, he sat out this one. Suomela comes in. Jones with his 3rd straight start, 4 games. And you had something, Rocket?
Nope.
Okay. Took the Sharks 16 minutes to get their 3rd shot on goal, and the power play looked like dog shit. All passing. Sorensen sucked ass in the first period. Delay of game, a neutral zone turnover to lead to a 3-on-1. But then in the second frame, Sorensen redeems himself, has a give and go with Balcers for Rudy's 3rd of the season. Kane from Burns and LeBanc goes 2-0. Both goals coming in from in tight on Peterson's right side. In the final seconds, Iafallo would tip a shot past Jones. You can't blame Jones there on those tip shots. Then 21 seconds into the third, Kane gets his 2nd of the night, and you're feeling pretty good about this, especially when a minute later, Hertl gets his 9th of the season. Kempe would get one back as EK65 failed to clear the crease. And for me, my notes on this one is this was another soft game from EK, in my opinion. There was a point where he tried to be real flashy at the blue line, ended up turning it over by himself. It's like, just play simply. Just stop it. Just stop it. The 2nd straight game where the Sharks allowed over 40 shots on goal. But recently Jones said, I'm not thinking, I'm just playing. These last 2 games against LA, I'm like, not thinking, dude, did you get a lobotomy? Because you are killing it for those 2 games.
Yeah, well, 83 saves on 86 shots or something like that?
Yeah, something ridiculous.
Like, we spent most of last week talking about how Jones has lost the net and he needs to be, jettisoned to the sun, and then here he comes back, and, we'll get into it in a little bit, but even those games against Arizona, I mean, you're going to see a bad goal here and there, but, like, he's been on it, to your point, this last week. And I mean, if the Sharks want to do anything of substance beyond this year, I mean, they're going to need him to be on it more often than not. And so I know, it's 1 week with 4 games in it, but I liked seeing, and even going back to those games he started last week or the week before, the consistency, where even if he's not in the net for 2, 3, 4 games, he can come back in and he doesn't look rusty.
Mm-hmm. And coming in from Finn on the chat, says Jones seems to do this every time he gets on everyone's nerves. Like that annoying friend that busts your balls and then says, kidding, and makes it up to you.
That's a fair way to put it.
I like it.
I just liked from this game, especially the second game against LA, where how many times have we seen the Sharks allow a goal going into an intermission and then everything just sort of falls off the rails. So I liked the fact that, they let in a goal from Iafallo at the end of the second. And if you watched the first game against LA, you had a feeling Iafallo was going to break out at some point. I mean, Jones was regularly taking goals away from him. So not really a surprise there. But then to see the Sharks come out and get 2 quick ones to start the third period, that's how you want them to play, right? Where it's like, okay, you scored 1 on us and that's great, but we're going to get 2 more and we're going to make you keep working for it. So I liked that the Sharks didn't get rattled by letting in a goal so close to the end of the period.
Well, at the end of this game, I actually asked Coach following the game about Jones seeing all this rubber.
Hey, Bob, this is the second straight game that the Sharks have given up over 40 shots on goal. Are you concerned about the amount of rubber that Jones is seeing?
No, I never really worry about shot totals, to be honest. We go through the analytics after the game and tomorrow morning and look at, passes to the slot, inner slot chances against, second and third opportunities around that, those kind of things. We knew LA coming in and we've, they've been like this for years. They sling a lot of pucks to the net and they go to the net hard and they're looking, for second and third opportunities around the net, and they got great sticks. They're heavy around the blue paint. So we knew that going in. We knew we were going to face a lot of shots, and Jonesy did a great job of handling rebounds. And when we didn't, when there was a second and third opportunity, I thought Jonesy was big.
So clearly, Coach digging what he's bringing. And, of course, the story of this one being Couture taking the butt end of Carter's stick to the face towards the end of this one. And Carter got 2 minutes, but League didn't even bother to look at it. They said, oh, no, it's fine. It's fine. Don't care.
I think in that case, it was a hockey hit that just had an unintentional consequence. I've seen some people on Reddit, saying, "Oh,
should have got 5 games."
This is a hit job, and it's like, okay, hold on,
back the truck up.
I think as a fan, you are not allowed to have more PTSD about Logan Couture getting hit in the face than Logan Couture does.
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean,
Happy
controversial yet brave opinion,
So we move on to a pair versus Arizona, and geez Louise, did the Sharks need these? Coming in, they're like, 30 points? Arizona's at 33, and it's kind of like, boys, we'll pull both of these off. All of a sudden, you're starting to look actually like the idea of the playoffs are not so far-fetched. So what do? You go out there and lay 2 eggs and get shut out in one of them to an AHL goaltender.
At least it wasn't our Zamboni driver.
Oh, solid point. So, yeah, Aiden Hill gets the start in a 5-2 loss. Couture was a game-time decision, but ended up playing. The big story of this, of course, was that John Madden was finally behind the bench. That was the big story. It's like he finally got his paperwork and blah, 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 blah. But on my notes here, it's like Dvorak scores first, catching LeBanc and EK65 out of position. And the second hurdle ties it with a shortie in the first 3 minutes. Schmaltz gave Arizona the lead on a shot. Burns got absolutely torched. Burns gives it away to Dvorak in the third. Now it's 3-1. Hunt makes it 4-1. Bugner challenged that for some odd reason because I guess the Sharks felt like they needed more practice on the PK. Kessel makes it 5-1, and after Jones throwing up a great streak of games, not so much. Marlowe did get a second of the season on the power play, and Schmaltz would end up getting fined for boarding Schimmick in this one. But, boy, this was a game where I thought Burns looked horrible.
Yeah, like you said, a couple brutal giveaways from Burns, like you said. I thought I don't know. This is one of those games where it's like you said, you're expecting them, you're hoping, you're wanting them to kind of pick it up and say, okay, get 2 points here, stay in the hunt, and try and make it a game. And you look at the final score. I mean, it was a brutal game, especially right after Hurdle's shorthanded goal. It was kind of just okay, then that was it, wrap it up. But the only real takeaway I had from this one, I mean, aside from Aiden Hill looking really good. Yeah, man, I saw Schmaltz put Schimmick down, and the first thing that popped in my head is, uh-oh.
Here we go.
Put on the seatbelt. Here comes the sheriff, and sure enough. that I didn't really have a lot of takeaways from this game.
All I did was, oh man, the defense did not make the trip.
No.
Yeah, a little sus.
Just a scotch. But another thing that seemed to be a storyline was about why aren't the Sharks generating offense earlier? We mentioned that the previous games against LA, they had gone stretches without getting a shot on goal early in the game. Ended up being kind of a storyline on the week. But following this game versus Arizona, I asked Hertl about generating offense early and how he felt about getting his 300th NHL point.
Yeah, Tomash, the second straight game where the Sharks have had trouble generating offense in that first period. It's the third straight game where the Sharks have been outshot. Are you concerned about generating offense early in games to start them off?
Yeah, it's, we always kind of fall asleep, and our team, they come more hungry, we always waiting and waiting for the games. We should be, team, we should jump on them and they should play our game. But in the last couple, like you just say, last 3 games, we always waiting for our teams do it, and after we play with them. But should be other way, and it's very, very better when we jump, if we do some chances and outscore them. But we don't just did it, And thank you just for Jonesy, was last couple of games keep us in the play.
How does it feel to get your 300th NHL point?
Yeah, it's nice, for me it was a long way, it's kind of to get there, but I'm looking more for 500 games, so hopefully I will get there this year, because it's with my injuries and stuff, I'm just happy and just be healthy and playing the game.
I hope you had your Hertl Dakota ring.
Dude, okay, you asked him about his 300th point, and he laughed and he sort of looked to the side. Dude, totally gave me like that. Okay, who is this guy I'm answering questions for? Like he was, yeah. Like I think he was ready to show you what was up.
Yeah, no, he was ready to have me. Who is
this
schmo?
Guy?
Yeah. No, well, you know what though. The funny thing is, though, as I've seen that happen from a lot of other people when they're asking questions, because evidently it's been kind of a thing where guys will kind of goof off, behind the camera, and you'll see their eyes kind of darting a little bit like that. But yeah, it did definitely come off. It's like, okay, who's this slap dick asking me this 300-point question? Oh, you gotta love it. Finally, we move on to the final game, which is a shutout, and not in a good way. Marleau ties Messier for games played. Dubnyk comes back in along with Gabriel after Schmidt getting drilled the night before. Maybe
put on your seatbelt. It's going to be a rough one.
Maybe that talk about generating offense early helped, because the Sharks outshot Arizona 17-9 in the first. But then Keller scores, and then what happens? Shortly after, Gabriel and Hayden each get 2 for hugging. I think they called it roughing. And then, what was it? There was Hayden got 2 more for, somebody got an extra 2 for instigating, or I don't know. It was so silly. But the Sharks go more than 9 minutes without a shot on goal, then give up a power play goal. Gabriel has the stupid hit, 5-minute major, interference, misconduct. I get you want to make a name for yourself, but you don't have to go full Rafi Torres. Kessel ends up getting a hat trick. Bugner would make another challenge in his second consecutive game and lose the second consecutive challenge. Notes on this: Randy and Hetty calling out Meyer for not finishing his checks. Oof.
Good. It's about time. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Timo Meyer, but it's like, you look at the contract, you look at what he's done in the NHL already and what he can do. Like, and don't get me wrong, he's played well. The stats would bear that point out, but you need more from him. All about. You need more goals. You need the physicality. Like, it's just not been. You need better shots. It's just not been there all year. And he is a guy who is famously late to the party when it comes to scoring goals. So, we'll see. Maybe in the last 15 games he's got 15 goals and we all shut up about it. But and until then, he leaves you wanting more, as they say.
Well, and how many games did Rocket watch Meyer not focus on scoring goals, but just losing his shit?
Quite some time. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He had a little bit of a temper tantrum problem there for a minute. Now he's just disinterested.
Yeah, well, especially Rocket and I were that second year of the Barracuda. Like Rocket and I were practically at every game, and it was like, oh, Timo Meier penalty. Set your watch. What time is it? So
It's true. God.
Funny note about this one: Kessel has scored in every game that Arizona's played versus the Sharks this season.
Good for him.
6 of his 14 goals on the year have come against San Jose. Maybe think about, I don't know, covering that dude a little more. I don't know.
He's good though. There's got to be some sort of weird thing every year, and I would rather it be Phil Kessel than Sidney Crosby.
I'd rather it be a good player than a not good player.
Are you saying Phil Kessel isn't a good hockey player?
No. No. To your point,
yeah,
like you say,
Okay.
could you imagine if it was Curtis Gabriel type player doing this?
Yeah. Puts up, 4 goals in 4 games. I'm glad it's Kessel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because at the very least, he's a good player. Where it's like, yeah, all right, well, that was bound to happen. But yeah, if it's like,
Chief's good. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you're rolling in to play the LA Kings and Brendan Lemieux is having a night regularly, it's like, what are we doing here? I don't know. Just looking at this, just the thing in this game, and I mean it's 4-0, right? So it's kind of hard to say. Well, maybe if this was different, or maybe if that was different. But I mean, you got Šimik clearing the puck over the glass, Balcer's trip, Balcer's hold. You got Vlasic slash. You just got a lot of brutal, unnecessary penalties. There are situations where you're not in danger of being scored on. You're not in danger of losing the puck. They're just sloppy. Weird times to take a penalty. Very sloppy, yeah, Rocket. And it just makes you wonder how the game would have gone if it wasn't, a parade to the penalty box for the Sharks. And
yeah,
I'm sure we'll get into it later. But like you said, AJ, the Gabriel penalty is just, I wouldn't even say that was a late hit, because for it to be a late hit, the puck had to have been there at some point. And if you look at the replay, the puck was not there.
Yeah, I didn't even understand that.
There was nothing to be late for.
Yeah, at some point it's like, you're not protecting the team, bro. You're hurting him. Stop it.
Yeah, you're trying. Yeah, it's like how AJ always say. It's like you're trying to build your brand as opposed to the brand.
Exactly. That is 100,000% correct. Because every time he gets talked about, then people start talking about him and noticing him and all the charities and benefits and nonprofits that he's trying to push. Very actively right now, I might add too.
Well, it's because he's actually in the NHL right now. That might not last for much longer.
So, he's kind of using the Sharks as a social media platform to boost his off-ice career, which is the most surreal thing I've ever seen in my life.
Well, and I don't know, Rocket, I don't know if you listened to when he was on John Scott's podcast, but John Scott was basically like, oh, I can't wait till you start your own podcast.
Nice. So over the 4 games, 2 of the 4 Sharks did score first. So okay, take that as a positive, I suppose. But they were outshot in 3 of 4 of them, a minus 28 goal differential, shot differential. The power play for the Sharks 1 for 8, the PK 16 for 18. So you look at that and you go, well, hey, solid numbers on the PK, but I'm sorry, what? You had 8 power plays and you had to kill 18? Yikes. Stop taking penalties.
I'm tired. That's why they're taking sloppy penalties, because they're exhausted from taking too many penalties.
I like it. I just don't understand how the Sharks weren't motivated a little bit more when Arizona's a team you have to beat. But let's get to Jerk's favorite part. After 33 games, the Sharks are 13-16-4 for 30 points. this point last season, after 33, they were 15, 16, and 2, good for 32 points. So right now, current team 2 points worse than last season.
Hey, they're bridging the gap.
They are.
So, we're we're getting close to proving my my hypothesis true here.
Well, at 56 last season, they were 24, 28, and 4. So
that is a low bar, my friend.
Yeah.
Did you know if they get 25 wins this year, it's over?
Oh boy.
What, the season?
No, it's just that he'll have a new T-shirt that will announce his, his knowledge.
Which, if you do some quick math, might be a little tough. They got to win.
Hold on.
Is it? They got to win 12 of the next 20, 22.
Yeah,
it can happen.
It could, and let me paint you a picture.
Paint it.
If the Sharks get their shit together, they could make a decent push for the playoffs because St. Louis, by the way, who just got beat by Anaheim, of all teams, 17 of their remaining 20. St. Louis has also played like more games than anybody else in the division. Well, I think them and Anaheim are right there, but St. Louis, 17 of their remaining 20 are against the top 3 teams in the division. That's a gauntlet.
I hope they just keep getting dummied every night.
That's a car wash full of sledgehammers.
Yeah, that is a gauntlet. So St. Louis right there, you have to sit there and just based on scheduling going, ooh, I don't know that St. Louis is going to make this. Conversely, Arizona, 21 games left, 9 against the top 3, and they only have 2 against Anaheim, but they do have a 9-game road trip, and Arizona has not been necessarily that great on the road. So you have that to try to take advantage of. Now, the tough one is the Kings, who have the path of least resistance. They have 24 games left. 9 are against the top 3, but 5 are against the Ducks. However,
and if I'm not mistaken, aren't those 5 games against the Ducks in a row?
If they aren't in a row, they're damn close.
Yeah. Are you suggesting that they're going to have all their ducks in a row?
That's exactly what I'm suggesting.
Just wanted to make sure I was reading that correctly.
Oh, jeez. How did I not see that coming? All right.
That's awesome.
But they do. The Kings do have 6 more against San Jose. They've already lost the first 2. So that's huge. Now, as you were saying about San Jose, it's going to be tough. 23 games left. 12 come against the top 3 teams. Now, 4 of those of the last 6 games that they have to play are against Colorado, who by then might not have a whole lot to play for, especially if Vegas kind of runs away with it. I don't know. But the one thing you're talking about is what'd you say, like 12 of 23, they got to pull that out? 15 of their 23 games are at SAP.
Yeah, they got 23 games left. And that's the thing. 12 of the final 23 to be better than last year. That doesn't even guarantee a playoff spot.
Right.
So,
but you didn't say playoffs. You just said better.
That is true. That is true. And as I always say, below average is better than far below average.
It's good enough for government work.
Oh, hi-yo.
Heyo.
So coming up next week, we got 2 against the Wild, who are currently 3rd in the division. Ooh, 8-2-10. I mean, it was 8-2-0 over their last 10. Yikes.
I was going to say 10?
Yeah, how do you pull that off?
They are Minnesota Wild. They are nasty at home, too. 13-3 at home.
Hold on. These games are at SAP, aren't they?
They could be.
Let us confirm. And in fact, yes, they are. So
Okay. Hey, it's a point in our favor.
They could still be nasty. You don't know.
Yeah. Well, they come into this on a 3-game win streak, and they're 2-1 against the Sharks this season. So
they nasty.
We're gonna need that Brent Burns that we usually see against the Wild, like cranked up to 10. Following the Wild, the Sharks have back-to-backs against LA, currently 6th in the division. They're 4-5-1 over their last 10, but they're 1-2-1 versus San Jose. So, boys, I mean, they have to go 3 of 4 this week to try to stay in the mix.
Well, not only that, but if you flip that calendar over to April, the first 7 games of April are against either Anaheim or LA. That's when you need to run it up.
You right.
4 against LA, 3 against Anaheim. You have to run it up there.
Oh,
Like, you have to. Like,
Yeah.
there's no... If you're losing... Especially... I mean, LA, they're good, sure. But especially Anaheim. Like, if that game on April the 6th, if you lose that game against Anaheim, I mean, at this point, you're giving away points to everybody.
Yeah. Oh, train's coming in.
Oh.
So here comes that wagon that Minnesota is right on time. So yeah, if they don't run the table, I mean, you can't go 500 over these games versus LA and Anaheim. Like, you need to pick up points. So
yeah, man, and the Battle of California, San Jose needs to come out on top of this for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, ideally in that April start, ideally you would go 3-0 against Anaheim and 2-1-1 or 3-1 against LA. I mean, ideally.
yeah.
Because then that's the thing. Anaheim has good players, but the Sharks shouldn't be losing games against Anaheim.
True. But they shouldn't be losing games to LA either, which I think is what makes this whole situation so much more like the stakes are higher, the tension is higher because it's so much more palpable. We can almost taste it. Will it happen? Dun dun dun. You know, like this is good. I like how this is building.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's get to our who's hot and who's not. I think this one's real goddamn obvious. Who's hot? The penalty kill. I mean, last 5 games, they killed 18 of 22, 82%. They killed, 7 straight minutes of Arizona? And if that isn't an FU to Vegas, like, you can do it. And we're going to add on 2 minutes just for funsies. Hurdle. Excuse me. Hurdle.
Chip.
3 goals, 3 assists in the last 8 games. So looking better than he has. And then, Jones. Since being yanked in the Vegas game 3 weeks ago, he's had 4 starts up through those LA games, posted a .966 versus the Ducks, Blues, and the 2 versus LA. Chiefs stopped 142 of 147 shots on goal. Dude, I mean, hi-yo.
Yeah, my hot, I mean, it's... You pretty much nailed all the big ones. I would say just quickly, like as an aside, I think Donato and Balcers. I mean, they've in the 4 games this week, they each only had 1 goal, but they are both playing very well in the spots in the lineup that they're in. Specifically, Donato. Ever since that donut he was putting up for 20 games, he got the goal and he's
looked better since he's been pushed down to the 4th line.
That's what I'm saying. He's playing better. He's generating more offense. And I just think, same thing, Balcers. Like, the offense hasn't really been there aside from that 1 goal. But I think you watch the way he's played, especially with that Hurdle line, he doesn't seem out of place, which I think is huge, because the question mark going into this season that the 3 of us were all kind of talking about is, who are your top 6 wingers? And Balcers looks like a guy who wants to take one of those spots, and the offense is not there. But as I said, he doesn't look out of place. He's not regularly getting pyloned, and it's something, especially if this team doesn't make the playoffs again, you need developmental things to build on and to look forward to, and that's obviously one of them.
Let's see, what is this? Jim A in Florida? I'm not sure. This is Buffalo 16 points, Anaheim, Ottawa, Detroit 28 points, Sharks 30 points. Playoffs? I mean,
you're not out until you're out.
Yeah. I mean, we're not guaranteeing anything. We're just
Nope.
Look, I hate to invoke the anomaly from a couple seasons ago, but let's at least call, there is precedent here. Where was St. Louis in January when they won the cup? Like in the cellar?
Last place. 31 out of 31.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's,
And they got a new coach.
And that's the thing.
Hey, so did the Sharks. John Madden's finally here.
and that's the thing. It's very, like you're saying, it's an anomaly. It's very improbable, but it's not impossible. You know what I mean? And the Sharks, I would argue, are not in the hole that St. Louis is in. Or St. Louis was in, rather. So
we got their numbers.
Exactly. And I will say, around that time, I actually had a friend say to me, "Don't sleep on the Blues." So that is like the ultimate foreseen points. I just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah. Some recipes just take longer to gel before they're ready than others do. Not everybody can be a 1-hour cheesecake.
That's what I'm saying. Sometimes you throw it on the grill for 12 minutes, and sometimes it's in the crock pot for 8 hours.
Exactly.
Really? We're not devolving into another cooking show. Stop it.
Hey, if you don't want an apple, don't shake the tree.
Oh, Jesus.
Ayo.
Here we go.
Popping
All right.
water bottles, mama's cookie. Yep.
On the not hot list, the power play. Last 5 games, 1 for 9, good for 11%. Despite having the puck in LA zone for nearly 3/4 of a power play, they got off 1 shot because they were too busy practicing fancy drop passes. And I'm talking to you, Kevin LeBanc. Those stupid drop passes. Anyway.
He's doing his Erik Karlsson impression.
Yeah. I think Brendan Dillon, it's just an offshoot real fast. Brendan Dillon is so much more of a positive locker room, off ice influence than Erik Karlsson is with his little bad habits. I'm just saying that.
Hey, now.
Yeah.
Brent Burns, not hot. No goals in his last 12. Got absolutely torched versus Arizona. I mean, 6 assists and a -2, -2, if you will, over his last 12. But, dude, no goals in 12 games. Brother, I know you're focusing a little bit more on defense lately, but, dude, get in the party. And then finally, Devin Dubnyk. His last 3 starts, 885, 800, 865. And that's after his 3 starts before that, doing 944, 923, and a shutout. Oof. Man, the Sharks goalies this season, it's just, world beaters or can't do anything. The puck either looks like a beach ball or it looks like a pebble. It's one or the other.
I really wonder how much of that is on, how much of those percentages are on him and how much of it is on just the abysmal performance by the Sharks defense.
2 things can be true, as Jerk likes to say.
Well, but Rocket brings a good point. I think it depends on who's in net, because how many times, especially going back a couple weeks, how many times did we say, well, Dubnyk doesn't have a win and his stats are brutal, but in terms of saves, he's been the better goalie, and Jones was getting wins, but, to the point AJ likes to make, Chief was pulled, every 3rd game for like 2 months, it felt like.
Yep, you're right.
So it's kind of, and we've seen this before where it's like, and this is kind of something I've just been thinking about offhand, but it's like, okay, when Jones is in the net, it's almost kind of like, okay, Jonesy's our guy. We know what he's going to do for us. We don't need to worry about it. And then because of that, Jones starts to get shelled a little bit. But if you go back historically, since Jones has been on the team, Stalock, Dell, Reimer, even Dubnyk now, where it's like, okay, this is, Jones, you're not Jones, so we're going to kind of tighten it up a little bit. And I think that's why every backup the Sharks have had since Jones came to the team has been, everything looks a bit more structured in front of them. At least that's kind of how I've seen it.
Got it.
We were making our little food metaphors a minute ago. By Vince G calculation, the Sharks need to marinate for 5 years. Dude, that's going to be some tasty meat when we're all said and done. I'm just saying.
It'll fall right off the bone.
Oh, dude. Yeah. So the Sharks have 15 home games left. We still don't know if there's going to be any played this season that will see fans inside SAP Center. And geez, how much does that suck? Because do you realize the amount of plans that were probably on the drawing board of involving the alumni and promotions because of the 30th anniversary? I mean, we remember all the stuff they did in the 25th. It's like, I just picture some warehouse in like Willow Glen or something that is just stocked with a whole bunch of like merch that they can't use or that they'll eventually use.
They'll use it.
Yeah, they'll eventually use it.
They got their own personal team store website to run.
There you go.
They can sell all of it whenever they want.
And it keeps evolving.
Waiting for Puck Guy to whip up a version of the 30th anniversary logo that just says like 30.5 or like 30 and then like version 2.
You're right. Okay, let's
an asterisk, and then it says underneath it 31 or something.
Let's go around the NHL. The Buffalo Sabres, for those of you not paying attention, are winless in 17 straight games. Do you know how hard that is?
Brutal.
It's setting a league record.
Like, you can't... longest skid since 05-06 when the shootout was introduced. But do you understand how hard it is to go winless in 17 straight? Like, you would figure just from dumb luck, you would at least pull one out of your ass. Like, your goalie just for some reason has a really great game or something changes, but no. This, and you watched you watch the draft lottery is going to screw this team.
For sure.
Picking like 6th or something just for giggles because that's how bad things are.
Cursed. Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to something that I wanted to talk about for a hot second. Matthew Tkachuk and Rasmus Andersson are dicks. And let me show you why.
Belief. And this happened right at the very end. Let's watch Rasmus Andersson. He's going to take the puck away. Brady Tkachuk's going to go get the puck for the youngster. Gustavsson, first win in the National Hockey League. And then Matthew Tkachuk shoots it down the ice. Hannafin has a few words. Well, Rasmus Andersson is a Swede as well, trying to take away the glory from the youngster.
Dear Lord, like, I understand things are not going exactly the way you had hoped in Calgary, but geez Louise, man, 22-year-old kid gets his first NHL win, and you're going to be dicks with the game puck, really?
Yeah, and that's the thing is
assholes.
If you go and you look, Rasmus Andersson, he ended up saying like apologizing and saying it wasn't intentional, and that very well may be true on his part, but to your point and to any point, like, if you're the losing team, it's just tradition that, like, you have no reason to take the puck. You lost. Yeah. So I don't even understand why the whole situation had to happen.
Personal branding.
Oh no, we're not back to that again.
It's an overarching theme.
Speaking of the Flames, some NHL scribes say Tkachuk has been invisible since Daryl Sutter took over, which, if memory serves, Jerk, I think, kind of had foreseen points on that.
I did, but I wanted to let it percolate a little bit,
marinate, if you will.
Marinate.
In the first 9 games with Sutter, Tkachuk 1 goal, 5 assists, +4. Previous 9, 2 goals, 7 assists, but a -2. And we know plus minus is negligible, but so far, what Jerk kind of called it so far, 6 points with Sutter, 9 points before him. Just saying. We'll see what happens.
And I'll tell you, in 3 years when he's traded to Pittsburgh, he's going to have a huge year.
And staying with the Flames, because this is just fun. For those of you who don't know, Daryl Sutter maybe didn't care for Gaudreau's effort in his 499th game.
Johnny Gaudreau plays 500 games tonight at the NHL level. I'm just wondering, mostly as a guy who's coached against him and now working with him, what have your kind of impressions been of the career he's made so far? And then what are you looking to see out of him now at this point?
Well, if you're just basing on his 500th game tonight, hopefully he has more energy than in his 499th game.
Damn. And I just like how the room just goes dead quiet and lets that sit there for about 5 seconds.
The shade. That was shade.
Well,
And any other coach would have like winked or smirked or like stuck their tongue out, but like Daryl Sutter, he's like all business.
Well, we brought this up when it came out that Sutter was going to be back coaching. All you have to do is look at the Flames roster and go, okay, who are the guys that are like talent, skill kind of guys? I think Johnny Hockey fits into that mold, and that is not a Daryl Sutter player. We saw that's the way he would deploy Solani and Koryuk when he was with the Sharks. It was always, you always saw guys like Nolan and Ricci. Those were the kind of guys he likes. He likes grinders, bangers, power forwards, hard guys that are heavy. Johnny Gaudreau is not a Daryl Sutter type player.
Well, it's no coincidence either that Alexander Koryuk's best season in the NHL was the year Daryl Sutter got fired.
Shocking. I'm completely shocked by that. Let's move on to the story that we all wanted to talk about. Let's be honest. And we'll throw it up here. Referee Tim Peel no longer working NHL games. So Chief got banned, got early retirement from the NHL after a hot mic moment about a Predators penalty. This apparently about Peel feeling the need to make a makeup call. I mean, how many times have we seen that? And one of the Preds, I think, said, what if Detroit scores on that power play and Nashville loses by a goal and then loses a playoff point or a spot by a point? And that could happen. But to me, it's like, this is just the tip of a bigger problem. And I thought Kerry Frazier's comments were more concerning. If you look at him, he, Frazier called it unfortunate. There's so many hot mics around in the rink now that officials can't have any sort of a private conversation. What are you trying to have a private conversation for? Like, do you have to sit there and go, okay, so we've called 2 so far against Nashville. We got to get one back for Detroit. Why?
Well, like, I just think,
dude, if just call, if it's a penalty, call it. You don't have to create one.
Right.
And I don't like the thing here that says, Frazier added that, what was it? It was something about like, having no 2 games are alike. The great referees have a feel for the game. What feel for the game? Dude, just call the penalties.
I don't know. I just think if you look at this from the perspective of like, the integrity of the game, like I like the NHL doing this from the sense where it's like, okay, this comment, if somebody takes it and spins it a certain way, you could question the integrity of the NHL and, is it a fix? Is there a plan? Are we up to something here? So from that perspective, I don't want to say I like the move, but I understand it. But at the same time, and, kind of off the air, our buddy Ian Reed, he made the point where it's like the NHL is pretending like Tim Peel is the first ever referee to have a makeup call. It's all just saying, okay, well, this is the first guy who got caught with his pants down. Let's assign all the blame to him and move on.
Oh, it's an easy scapegoat.
And yeah, exactly. And from that perspective, I don't think it's fair. I think they fine him, they do whatever, but Chief is retiring in a month. Just let him finish his time. Don't let his last game be because of,
dude, this is his legacy now.
Well, that's what I'm saying is like every referee in the history of the NHL, 104 years, has done this at some point. Tim Peel was just the first one to get caught. And like I said, I like the NHL squashing any attempts to question the integrity, but at the same time, like the fact that they're pretending like Tim Peel is some AWOL soldier who's doing this on his own is ridiculous.
I can't. One of the things that gets me, I'm a proponent for like adding a third ref in the sky. The other night we saw LeBanc get called for tripping, and then the replay showed that he was actually tripped by his own teammate. Like LeBanc wasn't involved. Like we've seen it in the NFL where they'll like pick up the flag. Like how can you not review? Oh, you know what? LeBanc didn't actually trip that guy, so okay, no penalty. Face off in the center. Let's go.
I think if they can make that judgment where it's like, the referees, they all put their arms around each other and skate towards that circle. I think if they can make that decision in the time they're skating to the referee circle, sure, change your mind.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's like, oh, we got to pick up to the phone and talk to our guy upstairs, just leave it.
Well, I mean, they're already like skating around with wireless mics. Wouldn't be a problem to skate.
Not anymore.
Well, dude, I wonder, the guy who let that audio through on the broadcast, I wonder if he got early retirement. But if they're already wearing wireless mics, you don't think that like the head official could have an in-ear talk back to an eye in the sky, that they could just, as Chief is skating to have his little huddle, he gets a little guy, you know what, just saw the replay. Yeah, that wasn't a penalty.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you want the referee skating around with an earpiece in while they're trying to pay attention to what's going on the ice?
Well, Chief isn't going to be talking to him unless there's something to say.
Let me ask you this. Have you ever had headphones in and you've been sweating?
Yeah.
That's all you need to know.
Brother. I still think
because that earpiece, if they're sweating, that earpiece is going to fall out and it's going to be flapping around and somebody's going to skate over it and it's going to be a whole thing.
Yeah, or you get hit in the side of the head and that earpiece gets lodged down your ear canal and you can't work the rest of the game or even the rest of the shift or maybe the next couple of months because you got a perforated eardrum. We don't want that, do we?
Okay, I get your points, but there's some way to make it so it doesn't take very long to say, you know what? Not a penalty.
Yeah, they calibrated that line and everything you're talking about is on the other side that they don't care about.
Just imagine that. Oh, yeah, I had to retire in early because an AirPod punctured my eardrum.
Come on now.
Well,
that would suck.
Well, dude, it really is a no-win situation, because you what if there's a game where Team A commits 6 penalties and Team B commits none? Like, Team B had 3 days rest and Team A is coming in, playing their third and 4 nights, second of a back-to-back. They're tired, and they actually commit 6 penalties. You look at it and you go, God damn, if you're rooting for that team. And if Team B plays clean, you're fine. But the thing is, you're still going to have people screaming at the refs, or screaming that, the refs decided this one. Look at it. They didn't even call a penalty on the other team. You can't win. But it's funny to go through and look at so many games where it's like, penalties for Detroit, 3. Penalties for San Jose, 3. Or it's 3-4 or 2-1. Like, it's generally pretty close. Very rare do you see where it's like penalties for the Sharks, 6, and penalties for LA, 1. You see it from time to time, but I don't know. I like what you said, Jerk, where it's just kind of like, Tim Peel is just a scapegoat in this. And it's like, the NHL's fine. We're doing everything right.
Yeah, like it's unfortunate that he's the scapegoat because obviously he's not the first person to ever commit this. But at the same time, I like the NHL acting swiftly to ensure that nobody starts to question the integrity of the game. I mean, especially, we know that legal gambling is down the road. How, imagine, let's just say, Joe from the Bridge bets $100,000 on there to be 5 minor penalties in the game, and then somebody calls a 6th just because they felt like it.
Well,
and say what you want about gambling, but the NHL is really wanting everything to go off well with gambling because that's one of the things that's going to boost the salary cap.
True. Oh, in a big way. But, how many times have we seen the excuse of, well, we can't blame the refs in this one because each team got 3 power plays, Or conversely, the team would have won if not for the refs. But instead of, like, I don't know, blaming your team for taking so many penalties.
That's too easy.
Well, it's just like, look, for as long as there's human officials, people are going to complain about officials. That's human nature. They're going to get things wrong from time to time. Will we have it amplified on a PA and on a broadcast? Probably not, but we'll see. Let's move on here. The NHL Board of Governors has approved new rules for the NHL Draft Lottery that will help last-place teams but restrict perpetual losers, hi Buffalo, from winning multiple lotteries. So the rules will be implemented beginning with the 2022 lottery. I can't wait to see how this works.
So Toronto can't win 5 times in a row?
Nope. Edmonton can't win like 3 times in 5 years. None of that.
Shocking.
Yeah. The deadline is less than 2 weeks away. The other cool thing about this is Canada has evidently halved, am I saying that correctly? Cut in half the time to wait, 7 days now, which seems like, maybe we'll see the deadline a little more activity. I don't know, but let me see. Nieto and Sorensen. Anybody else possibly leaving the Sharks?
Marleau.
Marleau. I would say maybe Dubnyk.
Oh, yeah.
Doobie needs to get his shit together if that's going to happen. The Marleau thing, I just don't know. Like, let me ask you a question. If you're a team that's competing right now, what is Marleau bringing to the table for you?
Veteran leadership.
Exactly.
Can't you get that from, I don't know, Matt Nieto, who has, plays, is faster and plays the PK very well?
Well, I think it depends on what your mindset is when you're bringing him in. You know what I mean? And I've been.
You can say veteran leadership, but it's not as if Marleau has the reputation of being the most talkative fellow in the room.
No, sure, but what I'm saying is, like, I was. Every time I saw Marleau on the ice this year, the offense is not there clearly, and my brain is just hyper focused to be like, well, this guy's not scoring. Why the hell is he playing? But then you kind of look at it, $700,000 playing on the fourth line. Like, there are worse guys to have on the fourth line, and on a good team, maybe he's a guy who steps into that fourth line. Maybe he kills some penalties for you. Maybe he's on maybe he's on the power play unit that's out there right when the power play is expiring. He's an inexpensive buy, and he's not somebody who's going to kill you. I think if you say, well, we want to unlock some of that 20 goal scoring he had before, I think your head is in the clouds. But if you want a stable guy who can win faceoffs and can skate and can kill penalties to play on the fourth line, I say you do it. Why the hell not?
Especially if you can contribute to his, especially if you can contribute to his feel-good story.
Yeah, and I mean, how many times have we seen, like, okay, you have 12 forwards and 6 defensemen on the ice at all times, but how many times have you heard people say, well, to really get to the cup, you probably need 15 forwards and 9 defensemen? How many times have you heard that?
Yeah.
All the time.
How many times have you said it?
That's true. Yeah.
I just think if we're saying, what does Gabriel net at the deadline? The Sharks would have to give him away for free. But
can we include a pallet of like 30th anniversary shirts for you?
That's what I'm saying. And like, say what you want about Marleau, where the offense is going, but it's like Marleau is still, like, if you're trading for him for the right reason, he's got value around the league. I mean, how we talk about probably once a week about wanting a fourth line that's not going to kill you defensively, and Marleau brings you that.
All right. Mm-hmm. So those are your picks. Like, who you betting on to, like,
most likely to get traded?
Yeah, like, put those in order.
I would say Marleau definitely last. I would say Dubnyk third, just because he's talked about signing an extension with the Sharks. Or at the very least wanting to, but and I think best case scenario is trade him for something and then re-sign him over the summer. I think that's the best case scenario, because he, by all accounts, wants to be here. Why not get something for him and re-sign him when it matters? Second, I would say Nieto, just because he's brings a certain skill set. Same to Marleau, he's got the speed, he's got the penalty killing. He's the guy who can do things for you on the fourth line. And then I would say Sorensen number 1, just because he's of no use to the Sharks, but
so why would he be of use to somebody else for double Nieto's price?
Oof.
Well, you can retain salary, and again, like I said, it boils down to having enough bodies to get over the finish line. And there are some people who already have Sorensen penciled into the Calgary Flames lineup for that first game after the deadline. So we'll see.
Would one of those people be you?
Yeah. I mean, I can't take credit for it. Obviously, I read somebody else's piece, but yeah, I would.
What do you got there? Words?
I have a question, and this is maybe not the right question, but I'll ask it nonetheless. Do you feel that there is any chance that they will trade Mario Ferraro?
I think if Doug Wilson trades Mario Ferraro,
he might as well just make out his own pink slip the same day.
I was going to say
just
he should he should probably be fired. I would say Ferraro's probably the only untouchable, It's like, and you can say, like, you can make the argument for Hurdle or Meyer, where it's like, yeah, these are young guys and you want to build around them, but they have value that will net you more things. But Ferraro, he's, as a mobile defenseman, like, those guys are kind of hard to come by, and you don't really want to just shed them off.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Absolutely. So, let's go on to our tweet of the week, shall we? I always look forward to these. It's time for the tweet of the week. Brought to you by the Photoshop whiz kid who came up with this. Nashville loves themselves some banners. It's a shame for those of you who are listening to the audio version of this that you don't get the visual, but let me just spell it out for you. Nashville loves hanging banners. They have a banner that says regular season Western Conference champions. Thank God the Sharks got rid of theirs because that's a silly banner to have. But they love hanging banners, and somebody photoshopped it so it said a banner was hung for ended Tim Peel's career. Whoever did this, you awesome. Definitely the tweet of the week.
It's brilliant.
Well, and as I'm sure you saw, the Buffalo Sabres also had a meme banner raised for them, if you will.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, it's March 27th, 2021, had a lead against the Bruins.
Oh, man. Man.
Hell yeah. Oh.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, I'm about that. Oh, that is fantastic.
Between the Sabres and the Bills, Buffalo has no luck with sports teams.
Well, the Bills actually had a really good season this year.
Okay.
Yes, but to Rocket's point, you take away that good season.
Oh yeah, it's perennial suckage. They're right up there with Cleveland.
And you know what's really fun about Rocket? Rocket says Buffalo Bills bad, Buffalo Sabres bad. Jump on the old internet there, and you'll find out those two teams are owned by the same people.
Oh, what are the odds?
This is where we put the this is a good space for the
tax write-off.
No, the X-Files music.
Oh, sorry, my bad. I smell tax write-off.
You point me to the sports mogul that had a championship winner and a cellar dweller in the same season. You point me to that sports mogul.
I cannot. I am unsure.
Because and I don't, and I'll have to double check. I'll have to open up a textbook to check this out. But if I'm not mistaken, the Ilitch family, who famously they own, Little Caesars, Detroit Red Wings, Detroit Tigers. I believe one of the years the Red Wings won the Stanley Cup, I want to say 2002. I believe the Detroit Tigers won the World Series that year as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and look that up.
I just remember the Ilitch family having a really good year.
Hold on. You said that they owned the Tigers, the Lions, and the Red Wings, correct?
Oh, my.
Or did you say...
No, the Red Wings, the Tigers, and Little Caesars.
Oh, Oh, okay. I thought you were... Oh, okay.
The pizza.
Yeah. No. I get you. But for some reason I thought I'd heard the Lions in there, and I'm going, well, wait a minute, because the Lions not that long ago lost every goddamn game in an entire season. So, Okay. Anyway, we probably dwelled too long on that. So, giveaway time. Look, if you follow us on Twitter, you saw it. I posted a photo. We've got some random things to send out to people. So we've been doing this thing about leave us something cool on iTunes and give us 5 stars, and that's been awesome to the people that have participated. Thank you. And CJ3000, I believe. Anyway, received their prize. Sharks Lass will receive hers this week. Beltran, that should be going out this week as well. For now, if we're going to give away something, just leave a cool comment on this video. That's all. Whether you want to completely agree with Jerk, that was some bullshit, or Rocket had really nice hair tonight, or just whatever. Just leave a cool comment, or ask a question, something. But yeah, leave a comment, and we'll pick a random poster and let you know what we're doing next week. So and share it with a friend. Share the show with a friend. We'll do that on the honor system.
Yeah. Can you throw up Benjamin Castle's comment about June 2004, 2 teams winning championships, Lightning and the Pistons? That's obviously what I was referring to. Yeah, because Pistons obviously in Detroit. But yeah, so like here, obviously to Rocket's point, Sabres and Bills both suck. In this case, Lightning and Pistons both good. I'm just going to go and say that the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are not owned by the same people, because they had a pretty good season. I was going to say, like I said, you find me the sports mogul who's got, who won the number 1 overall pick in the NHL and the Lombardi Trophy in the same year. Well, yeah, but how many,
as you like to say, sports moguls, how many actually own more than one franchise? Like, typically franchises are usually there's a couple, but it's pretty far and few between.
My point in bringing that up, though, is, and I think Rocket would agree with me, where it's like, even if you own two teams in 2 completely different leagues, chances are your style of ownership and your way you establish a culture and a way of doing things are going to be pretty similar.
Yeah, your ownership style is going to be very similar. If you're tight with the purse strings in particular areas, in one, you're going to be tight with those same purse strings in another, and that might hinder the performance of each club. But it's going to save you money. So, fuck them kids.
Oh, Jesus. All right. You can follow her at rbackhander76. You can follow him at hockey_jerk. You can follow me at AJ_strong. And if you have any questions or topics you'd like to hear us chat about, send them along to @Pucknologists on Twitter. Famous last words, Rocket.
Tell Matt Damon we apologize. We ran out of time, AJ.
That poor bastard. Never going to be on. Hockey Jerk.
I have 2 things. Number 1, I saw a really funny tweet that was.
So it was a day that ends in Y, is what you're saying.
Yes. It's I can't confirm this, but it's a conversation between Buffalo Sabres and Eric Stahl, breaking the news that Eric Stahl was traded to Montreal. It's here's the transcript. Sabres, you've been traded. Eric Stahl gets in his car. Sabres, wait, don't you want to know where? Eric Stahl laughs and drives away. and in this tweet, it was not the word laughs and drives away. It was a gif of a guy in a car smirking and then just peeling out, which was awesome. And then the second thing, if somebody refers to you as a bleached asshole, you should probably stay off Twitter. Back to you, AJ.
Okay.
Oh, okay. It took me a second to realize. Yeah, no, I know who Chief is. I'm going to say, is this a person that, shall we say, was previously employed as, how can I phrase this, an MC?
For legal reasons, my response to your question has been redacted until 2028. Yeah, I think we know. And we'll get into that on Discord a little bit later. So with that, I guess my famous last words right now are, of course, Joe Pavelski still leads the Dallas Stars. 15 goals, 32 points, +9. Oh, Joe, keep doing it, man.
keep doing it. The Stars suck right now, but dude, you are a shining beacon in a galaxy of darkness right now in Big D. So just keep doing what you are doing. Love it.
The thing we always ask, what do you think he would be doing if he wasn't washed up?
Oh, just imagine.
That's a damn shame.
Just imagine. Do us a favor, subscribe to this YouTube channel, please. Leave us the reviews on your favorite podcast platform. You can find everything on tealtownusa.com, including our latest check-in with Kevin Kurz that we did just at the halfway mark. Remember to check out the After Dark postgame show following every single Sharks game, and that is 126 in the bag. Happy birthday, Logan Couture. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, and we will see you all back next week.